With this new body, your husband is mine, sis.
When two sisters grow up in the same house, but one is showered with love while the other is treated like an afterthought, jealousy doesn't knock. It settles in quietly. It grows roots. It hardens into resentment. That was the story of my life. This is what happened between me and my sister. She did a BBL to take my husband, and everything that followed destroyed us forever. But before I tell you exactly how it happened, please like and subscribe, and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. I want to know how far this wild story has traveled. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy. When my sister Yua was still a newborn, she once hit her knee while crawling. It wasn't serious, just a small cut, but it bled enough to scare her. I was the one who noticed first. I limped into the living room, pointing at her knee. "Mommy," I said, my voice shaking. My mother barely looked up. My father didn't look at me at all. "Abina," my mother snapped, "can't you see your sister needs rest?" I stood there, confused, embarrassed, invisible. That was how it had always been. Yua was adored. I was overlooked. Even our aunts joked about it. They said I was the trial version that our parents had finally gotten it right with Yua. They laughed. I swallowed the pain. If Yua was calm, I was called difficult. If she was beautiful, I was told I would grow into my looks. If she succeeded, it was expected. If I failed, it was emphasized. And slowly, without meaning to, I began to hate her. Not because she did anything wrong, but because she had everything I didn't. Still, I never showed it. I knew better than to openly resent the child everyone loved. So I played the role of the good elder sister. I protected Yua from bullies. I shared my clothes. I defended her in front of others. I buried my jealousy deep inside my chest and smiled through it. Yua, to her credit, was kind. She always reminded me that she loved me. She chose my side in small, innocent ways. She never rubbed her blessings in my face. But sometimes love is not enough to heal years of quiet comparison. When I was 27 and Yua was 24, tragedy struck. One afternoon, we received a call that shattered our world. Our parents had died in a bus accident. The grief was unbearable. We clung to each other until our bodies ached, crying until there were no tears left. But grief doesn't pause reality. After the funeral, life demanded answers. The house we lived in was rented, and the lease was expiring. There was no inheritance, no savings, no safety net. We had to survive. Yua found her path quickly. She went into catering. Years beside our mother in the kitchen had taught her how to cook meals that tasted like home. Business was slow at first, but she stayed consistent. Slowly, customers came. Then referrals. Then steady income. I struggled. I tried everything: nails, lashes, hairdressing, even a mobile money stand. But nothing held me. The moment work became hard, I quit. Deep down, I was tired of failing. When the rent finally expired, Yua had enough money to secure a new place. I didn't. But she didn't hesitate. "Abina," she said gently, "I have enough. Pack your bags. We're moving."
Just like that.
I smiled. I hugged her. I thanked her. But inside me, something twisted painfully. I was the elder sister, now depending on the younger one. I imagined pity behind her kindness. I imagined silent judgment. I imagined her success screaming my failure every single day. The resentment I had buried for years finally began to wake up. And then came the moment that pushed me over the edge. Yua landed the biggest catering job of her life, an end-of-year party for a major oil company. When the confirmation message came in, she screamed and danced around the kitchen, joy pouring out of her. And the first person she thought of was me. She found me sitting quietly and smiled. "Sis," she said, eyes shining, "I just got a big job. I'm catering an oil company's party." That was the day everything began to change. And the day my love finally turned into something dangerous. Abina's eyes flickered with jealousy, but she nodded. "That's cool," she said. Ava added gently, "I was thinking you could come with me. We can work together. It's a big event, a great chance to network." Abina's face tightened. Was this pity? A reminder that Ava was doing better than her? She waved her off. I'm fine. I don't want to go anywhere. Ava hesitated, then nodded. Okay. The event was chaos. Guests arrived nonstop. Orders piled up. Ava barely had time to breathe. Praise for the food flowed freely. People asked who cooked it, requested business cards, and inquired about future bookings. In the middle of it all, she turned too quickly and collided with someone. She looked up and froze. The man before her was quietly handsome, with kind eyes and an easy smile. Sorry, he said. I wasn't looking where I was going. It's fine, Ava replied, flustered. They introduced themselves. His name was Kofi. Somehow he stayed. He helped her carry trays, move tables, and checked on her whenever she looked overwhelmed. Later, she learned he was a senior executive at the company, something that made him even more impressive. By the end of the night, they had exchanged numbers. When Ava got home, Abina was awake. Ava's excitement spilled out immediately. She talked about the chaos, the compliments, and the new opportunities. Abina listened with little interest until Ava added softly, "And I met a man." That caught her attention. A man? Abina asked sharply. Yes. Kofi. He's a senior executive. Something inside Abina snapped. So, why did you leave me at home? She demanded. Why didn't you insist I come? Ava blinked. But I did ask. You said you didn't want to go. Abina muttered under her breath, realizing she had no answer. Then she straightened. You meet a man in one night and think he's the one? Don't be foolish. I'm older than you, I know how these things go. That man probably just wants to sleep with you and dump you. Be wise. Ava's excitement dimmed instantly. Her sister's words cut deeper than she expected. Still, she assumed Abina was only trying to protect her. Thanks, sis, she said softly. I'm going to bed. She retreated to her room, holding both doubt and hope, unaware that this small moment had already set something dangerous in motion. Later that night, when Ava was fast asleep, Abina crept into her room. She picked up Ava's phone, searched for Kofi, and found his number immediately. With steady hands, she blocked it, deleted it, and returned the phone to its place. Stepping out, she muttered under her breath, low and sharp, "That little brat thinks she's going to find a rich man before me. She wishes." Days passed. Ava found herself thinking about Kofi more than she wanted to admit. She waited for a call or message, but nothing came. Eventually, she tried calling him herself, only to find his number gone. She searched again and again, growing confused and frustrated. It didn't make sense. She had saved it. Shrugging, she blamed a phone glitch. Maybe they weren't meant to be, but fate had other plans. A few days later, while stepping out to buy ingredients, she ran straight into him. Kofi laughed warmly. Ah, stranger. How are you? Ava raised an eyebrow. I'm the stranger? You're the one who never called. His smile faltered into confusion. He explained that he had tried, but it seemed his number had been blocked. Ava told him about her own attempts and the vanished contact. They stared at each other, baffled, then shrugged it off as a strange glitch. Kofi handed her his number again. This time, Ava didn't let fear, doubt, or her sister's warnings hold her back. She opened herself to him. Kofi was kind, intentional, and serious in a way she had never experienced before. Weeks turned into months, and their relationship blossomed naturally. Abina watched from the sidelines, her resentment simmering behind a controlled exterior. Then one day, Ava returned home glowing. Her eyes shone, her smile wide. He proposed, she announced. Abina forced a tight, brittle smile. I'm happy for you, she said, even as something inside her cracked. The wedding became the talk of era. It was opulent, beautiful, and meticulously planned. Kofi spared no expense, and throughout the ceremony, his love for Ava was unmistakable. Guests watched in awe as the couple exchanged vows, marveling at how perfectly matched they seemed. All except one. Abina, the maid of honor, stood beside her sister with a practiced smile, her heart burning with jealousy and rage. Ava had found a husband before her, and not just any husband, but a wealthy one. The thought consumed her. If she had gone to that event, she would have met him first. She would have been the one in white. She would have been the one adored. As the celebration continued around her, Abina made a quiet promise to herself. No matter what it took, she would take what she believed was hers. She would take Kofi. Months passed after the wedding. While Ava and Kofi settled comfortably into married life in his duplex mansion, adjusting effortlessly to wealth and routine, Abina remained behind in the small apartment the sisters once shared, an apartment whose rent Ava still paid, without complaint. From there, Abina watched, waited, plotted. For months, she did her research. She found the perfect clinic, crafted the perfect excuse, and waited patiently for the right moment.
Now it was time.
She asked herself one question over and over. What was the one thing I could have that Ava does not? Then it hit her. A BBL. A reshaped body. Perfected. Undeniable. Something she believed no man, no matter how loyal, could resist. This, she convinced herself, would be her ticket to Kofi. The timing was perfect. The clinic she had been researching for months, Curvy Girl Land in Lagos, Nigeria, announced a 30% discount on BBL procedures. Abina refused to let the opportunity pass. She calculated everything carefully: surgery, flights, hotel stays, aftercare, recovery expenses. The total came to 38,000 cedis. She didn't have that kind of money, but she had a generous sister, newly married to a wealthy oil executive who had never learned how to say no to her. One afternoon, Abina picked up her phone and put on her best performance. When Ava answered, Abina's voice trembled, gasping as though she could barely breathe. "Ava, it's bad," she said shakily. "It's really bad." Ava panicked instantly. "Calm down, Abina. What happened? What's wrong?" "It's our aunt in the village," Abina cried. "She's very sick, terminally ill. She needs surgery. I need to go there and take care of her. Everyone is contributing, but it's not enough." Without hesitation, Ava offered to travel with her, already thinking of informing Kofi and packing their bags. Abina shut that down immediately. No, she said quickly. "You don't need to come. I just need financial help." When she mentioned the amount, 40,000 cedis, she quietly added a little extra, already imagining new clothes, small luxuries, and a fresh start. There was a long pause on the other end of the call. Ava had the money. That wasn't the problem. But something about the request felt strange. Still, she brushed the feeling aside. This was her sister. What was the point of wealth if she couldn't help when it mattered? "Send the account details," Ava finally said. "I'll transfer it." Abina smiled so widely her cheeks hurt.
Thank you so much, sis.
"You're the best." Minutes later, the transfer came through. To cover any additional expenses, Abina took out a few loans from shady loan apps without a second thought. Then she packed her bags and booked her flight. BBL, here we come. The next day, Abina arrived in Lagos and went straight to Curvy Girl Land Clinic. The consultation felt like a formality. She had already researched the procedure thoroughly. The doctor examined her and nodded approvingly. "You have a good frame," he said. "The surgery will enhance you beautifully. Men won't be able to resist you." That was exactly what she wanted to hear. She paid the deposit that same day, and the surgery was scheduled for the following week. When the day finally arrived, Abina felt no guilt, hesitation, or remorse for lying to her sister and using her money to plan the seduction of her husband. In her twisted mind, she had already justified everything. Ava did not deserve Kofi. She did not deserve a mansion, the cars, and the life she was living. After years of being treated as less than, after growing up in Ava's shadow, Abina believed she was the one meant to win in the end. She told herself she wasn't stealing anything. She was correcting life's mistakes. She lay on the operating table, convinced of her righteousness, as the surgery began. When she woke up, pain tore through her body. Recovery was brutal. Massages that felt like torture. Sleepless nights. the struggle of learning how to move again without collapsing. But she endured it all. Week by week, her body healed. After 8 weeks, she barely recognized her reflection. When the doctor finally confirmed that she had healed well enough, Abina booked her flight back to Ghana. It was time to take what she believed was hers. The day she landed back in Ghana, she walked through the airport like she owned it. Heads turned. Men slowed their steps. A few were bold enough to ask for her number. She smiled politely and declined every one of them. She hadn't gone through hell for this body, for small fish. This body was for Kofi and Kofi alone. She stood at the pickup point, chin lifted, sunglasses on, until a familiar car pulled up. Ava stepped out, already smiling and opening her arms. Then she froze. The sister she remembered was gone. The woman standing before her had sculpted hips and a waist that curved like it had been drawn by hand. Ava cleared her throat. "Abina, welcome." Abina caught the shock in her voice and smiled wider.
Hey, sis.
"How are you?" Ava hesitated, then blurted out, "I'm sorry, but I have to ask, what happened? Your body, it's so different." Abina laughed lightly. "Village life," she said easily. "After everything with the surgery for Andy's mom, I stayed back a bit. Ate well, rested, gym, massages, Village food does wonders." Ava studied her, still unconvinced, but nodded. What reason did she have to doubt her sister? "Well," Ava said, "I actually have something important to tell you. Let's talk over dinner." Abina's smile sharpened. "Perfect. I have something to propose too." At the restaurant, Abina performed flawlessly. She answered questions about Auntie's mother, sighed at the right moments, and thanked Ava again for the money. Ava smiled, relieved, even saying she had been praying. Then she took a breath. "Abina, I'm pregnant." For a split second, the world went silent. Pregnant. Kofi had already put a child in her. Something cold twisted in Abina's chest, then settled into calculation. If anything, this made things easier. A pregnant wife would soon be tired, moody, heavy, and vulnerable. She stood up, plastered joy on her face, and hugged her sister tightly. "Oh my God, Ava, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations." Ava beamed. "I can't believe it. There's literally life growing inside me." Abina nodded along, barely listening. When Ava finished, Abina leaned forward. "Well, this actually makes my proposal make even more sense." Ava looked up.
Oh,
"What proposal?" "I think I should move in with you. At least for the pregnancy. You'll need help, someone close. Mom would have done it if she were still here." Ava's smile faded into something soft and sad. Then she nodded. "Of course. I'd love that. You've always taken care of me. I don't know how to repay you." Abina squeezed her hand. "That's what sisters are for." As they drove away, Ava suddenly brightened. "Oh, there's a small estate party tonight. Since you'll be staying with us, you should come." Abina hesitated until Ava added, "Kofi will be there too." Her interest sparked instantly. "In that case, sure," she said quickly. "How is he?" The questions started coming, too many, too eager. Even Seth, the driver, frowned slightly as he listened. Why is Madam's sister so focused on her husband? He wondered. "I'm sure he's even more handsome now," Abina added sweetly. "I can't wait to see him." Seth muttered under his breath. Relax now." Both sisters turned. "Did you say something?" Ava asked. He straightened immediately. "I said we're here." The car pulled up to the estate, lights glowing, music floating in the air. Abina stepped out, smoothing her dress. It was time. Soft Afrobeats drifted through the night. Laughter, clinking glasses, easy joy. String lights glowed across the compound as well-dressed guests mingled in small groups. Ava's phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen and smiled. "That's Kofi," she said, reading the message aloud. "He says he's still at home, but he'll be here soon." Abina's smile twitched. "Oh," she said lightly. "He's not here yet." "No," Ava replied, then suddenly shivered. She wrapped her arms around herself.
Ah.
"Oh no, I forgot my sweater at home." Before she could say anything else, Abina reacted instantly. "I'll get it," she said. "Let me go and pick it up for you. I can also say hi to Kofi, and then we'll come back together." Ava shook her head. No, it's fine. I can go by myself." "Absolutely not." Abina cut in, firm but smiling. "You're pregnant. You need all the rest you can get. Seth can drive me there and bring me back. Besides," she added sweetly, "I know exactly which sweater will match that outfit." Ava laughed, relieved. "You're a lifesaver, sis." "Thank you." Seth drove Abina, and the car stopped in front of the grand gates. Abina stepped inside the mansion slowly, taking everything in. The wide staircase, the polished floors, the quiet luxury that screamed money. This should have been mine, she thought. She climbed the stairs and opened the bedroom door. Kofi was inside. He sat on the edge of the bed mid-motion, his white button-down undone, muscles visible beneath his skin. He looked up, startled. For a moment, he didn't recognize her. "Abina," he said carefully. "Welcome." She smiled and walked in, closing the door behind her. "Hi, Kofi." She sat beside him on the bed. "I'll be staying here for a while," she continued casually. "Ava's pregnant after all. I'll be helping her." His brows furrowed. "She didn't mention that." "We just discussed it," Abina replied smoothly. "That's probably why." He nodded slowly, then stood up. "So, why are you here?" "Oh," she said, standing too. "I came to get a sweater for my sister. Do you know where she keeps them?" He pointed toward the wardrobe. As Abina reached for it, she deliberately let the sweater slip from her fingers and fall to the floor. She bent down slowly, staying there a few seconds longer than necessary, making sure he saw exactly what she wanted him to see. When she straightened, she noticed his eyes on her. There was something in his gaze she couldn't quite place, but she liked it. Kofi cleared his throat, picked up his jacket, and turned away. "Well, I should finish getting ready." She smiled. "Ava said we should ride to the party together." He hesitated, then nodded. By the time they arrived back at the party, guests had already filled the space. Kofi scanned the crowd instinctively. "Where's Ava?" "She's fine," Abina interrupted quickly, slipping beside him. "Can you introduce me to some people? I'm new, after all." He paused, then smiled politely. "Of course." From a distance, it looked harmless. Ava spotted them across the lawn. "Oh," she said softly. "Kofi is already here." Her friend Aba, standing beside her, followed her gaze. "And who's that woman with him?" "My sister," Ava replied easily. Aba hummed. "If I were you, I wouldn't be too comfortable with that." Ava frowned.
Please.
"That's my sister. I trust her." Aba tilted her head. "Trusting your sister is one thing. But do you trust your husband not to be enticed?" Ava looked again. Kofi was smiling. Abina was laughing. They stood close, too close. It was small, but the seed had been planted. Across the lawn, Abina smiled to herself, perfectly at ease by Kofi's side. Soon she thought this would be normal. She would make sure her sister was no longer part of the picture. This is where part 1 ends. If you want to know how this story unfolds and whether Abina succeeds in snatching Kofi, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss part 2. We remain African Folktale, bringing you the most intriguing stories.